Welcome back, everyone, to Brobrack Madness. We are talking House of Villains Season 3. My name is Craig.
My name is Juan, and we're so excited to be covering this. I know we have been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back, and we thought what better way to cover this amazing show. If you have not watched it, what are you waiting for? It premieres next week on Peacock, February 26th.
Yeah, we're very excited. We love this show. I think because you and I are very cast forward people. We maybe don't even care so much about what game they're playing. As long as the cast is good, I think they'll be entertaining and fun. And I think you and I value fun and interesting more so than like great gameplay or something like that. And this show always delivers in terms of a good cast.
Absolutely. And also, I am a pop culture buff, and I subject myself probably to far too much reality television. And it's always nice to kind of have a little bit of the lore of the people that are competing, which makes them really good to be casted in other shows or like this one, because they understand that a villain is dynamic and isn't there to bore us. So oftentimes what people find when watching the show is that these people are actually quite rootable when put in the same room with other villains, which again drive the plot for their shows. Because one of the biggest things that I actually watch and hear and I see, I'm a big Bravo girly, and I notice that a lot of people tend to hate whoever's being portrayed as a villain. And the thing about that is, like, if you don't have a villain, then you don't really have a show. And so, a person that does a good job will make you feel very passionate toward them instead of put you to sleep. And so this show will definitely do that. It will make you feel feelings, and yeah, well, hopefully season 3 continues in the way that season 1 and season 2 have delivered iconic moment after iconic moment. And it does such a good show, especially because we're in an era right now where they are mixing casts from different shows that you never thought you would see on a show. So I think this show in particular does it better than others. No shade to the others, but they just, again, there's something to be said by casting some of the most dynamic personalities on their respective shows. So without further ado, Craig, did you want to add anything? Sorry.
Yeah, I think these villains, at the end of the day, they understand the assignment. And the assignment is be entertaining, be fun, be dynamic, be cool, be interesting. I think season 1 of House of Villains is maybe one of the best episode or seasons of any show I've ever seen in my life. And if you know, the episode with Bobby Lights is possibly my favorite episode of TV ever. It's so funny. It's so good. It's fantastic. So really excited to talk about this show and this cast. We'll do this as a little bit of a primer. We're just going to talk about each of the contestants, and then hopefully every week we can have a little bit of a recap. So shall we start with our host, Juan?
Absolutely. I just wanted to add too, in addition to that, I 100% agree with Bobby Lights just being one of the best personalities. One of the beautiful things about that is that sometimes some people won't watch certain shows, so it introduces people to who these personalities are. Bobby Lights is very much consistent to who he has been on Love and Hip Hop Miami. Rest in peace, Love and Hip Hop Miami. It just got canceled this year.
Oh, wow.
But I think it's really, really cool. For someone like myself, I, again, sometimes just watch far too much reality TV, so it's always nice to kind of vindicate or be like justified in why I watch certain shows. And I think we're going to see that today as we cover the road to House of Villains season 3. We already have the list of the cast. I mean, that went out a few months ago, and it's a pretty stacked cast, to be honest. But yeah, like my co-host Craig mentioned, we are going to cover one by one and highlight why they were casted. I would say too, I don't want to like get my hopes up here, but this has been such a great cast. Not that the previous 2 seasons weren't, but it definitely really, really excited about this. So
yeah, and starting with even the host, Joel McHale.
Oh, yes.
who is famous from The Soup. Famously, I remember watching The Soup a lot when I was, I guess, a teenager, and my 20s. Very funny. He's also in Community, and I can't even imagine a greater host for this type of a show. He is so knowledgeable and he's so witty when he's talking to these people. It's very clear he does his homework, and he's hitting these celebrities with things from their past, and it just shows that he cares. I think he's a top tier host for sure.
Well, absolutely. And one of the things about The Soup on the topic of that is that for a lot of these returning reality stars that haven't been on our screens for some time, for example, some of the Bad Girls Club, Tanisha, Camila from last season, they were featured on The Soup for their iconic moments during The Soup. So it's like a full 360 moment, and it's just wonderful. Joel McHale is also such a beautiful man. He is talented and hilarious.
Would he be on the train?
Oh, absolutely. I was actually getting to that. He
Wow.
is definitely really front row. Everybody knows that I enjoy someone with a really good sense of humor,
Mm.
and he is just so funny. And yeah, I mean, the way that he goes about promoting this show, you could see a lot of passion behind the project, and I am so excited to continue to have him. I was so sad when The Soup was canceled because,
Yes.
like you, I also watched it, and I didn't really watch Community. Don't tell my partner that because he loves that show.
He does.
But when I saw him returning as in his hosting capabilities, I was so excited. And to see him continue to land gigs after gigs, like, we need more Joel McHale, and this is such a perfect platform for him.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our first person that we're talking about. And we're talking about Kate Chastain. Juan, if you want to lead off with this particular first contestant. We're all going in no particular order. We're just going in a kind of a random order.
Yes. So Kate Chastain is a reality star. She's also prominently known as a chief stewardess. She is known for being on the show Below Deck, although she has not worked any charters recently. She is on an after show for Below Deck Under with Chef Ben. Ooh, Chef Ben. Would we like to see Chef Ben on House of Villains? Let us know in the comments. Having said that, though, she was also on Traitors Season 1 and Traitors Season 2. And the reason why she even got Season 2 is because of her personality. She's really known for speaking her mind, telling it like it is, even if that means sometimes not holding back and saying something that could sound like a bit rough. And so she is a little rough around the edges, and we love that about Kate because she definitely knows how to bring tension into a room. If you only watched her from Traitors Season 2, you don't really get the Kate Chastain that we know from Below Deck and Traitors Season 1, but do not worry. I feel like she's going to come into House of Villains Season 3 bringing that energy, and she has a knack for making folding towels like penises. So I hope she brings that to the house. I think I've seen a couple clips there. I'm sorry, she had said rocket ships, but yeah, she is going to bring a lot to the show. There's a reason why she was casted twice for the Traitors. I know that some people were thrown off by that, but she's a really big personality, and it's going to be interesting to see how she meshes with other big personalities, because she's no longer the sole person that just speaks out her mind. So welcome, Kate Chastain.
Remind me how she did on Traitors, like in general. She looks very familiar, and when I see her, I think she was maybe entertaining, but can you remind me how she did?
I mean, she wasn't necessarily there to win, but I think that's the funny part. There is a really big change between Season 1 to 2. At least in Season 2, she kind of comes in trying a little bit more. In Season 1, she got irritated because people knew that she wasn't the traitor, and so she was asking at some point to be voted out every single week because she really hated it. She didn't want to do the challenges, and a lot of her castmates just were so annoyed by her, but they just kept her the traders just because they knew that she was irritating everybody. So she's definitely an entertaining person and is going to probably rub some people the wrong way. So really exciting to have her there. As far as like the strategy on traders, she's one of those people, like, she got invited, but she wasn't like, some people get really into the game and, oh, I want to do like, you know, these strategies. She's not one of them. She's very blasé. She's kind of the type of person that is going to, you know, read a person for being very passionate. Now, I don't know if you want to show, I did provide some clips for some of the people that I want
to try to show this real quick.
Oh my gosh! It's the best folded penis I've ever seen in my life. I instantly know Kate did that. She's the only one who could fold a penis that good out of a blanket.
Hey, did you have anything to do with that penis on the bed?
I made a rocket ship.
A what?
I don't know why you said it's that. It's a rocket ship.
Okay.
Guests like this definitely make me think that I have spent too much time in this industry.
The space program is still strong where I'm from. They've been going to Mars, but I have a feeling they're going to be going to Uranus.
Wow. I've seen rocket ships. I went to visit NASA once. I'm sorry, but that's a penis.
Outfit is funny.
For me, it's like Shelby.
Shelby does seem very obvious, too.
How do you know for sure? Because you think I'm a traitor, I'm not. And I mean, I wouldn't pick that outfit, so I don't think I trust your judgment completely.
So now you're knocking my outfit?
No, I'm just saying we have different opinions on different things.
Wow.
No,
What
and
did you
so
say?
picking an outfit. And
Well,
picking
good morning, Kate.
No, picking a traitor and picking an outfit.
I wouldn't pick that ugly vest.
I know. Well, Princess Diana did really say.
So that's a good example of what we can expect with Kate.
Wow, Kate. I love it.
There was a whole rivalry between her and Rachel Riley, which, fun fact, on House of Villains Season 1, we were potentially getting Rachel Riley. She dropped out at the last minute, but she's a villain in her own right. And
She'd be good on a
yeah,
season.
I love Rachel Riley. Shout out to Rachel Riley.
All right, next up we have Paul from Big Brother 18 and 19. Paul does have a little bit of a special place in my heart. My first season of Big Brother that I was like really into watching live was season 18. It was the season that he was a runner-up in. His 2 seasons were not particularly interesting the whole time because he was very dominant, but he has maybe one of the best to me, and I think it has a special place in your heart too, Juan. His season 19 finale loss to Josh Martinez is probably one of my favorite moments in reality TV history. He had a very dominant season. He brought this, not very good player, Josh Martinez, who I think is maybe the worst contestant to ever play any reality show ever. And
I'm not gonna, what's it called? I don't stand by my co-host there. I will let him finish though.
But he, Paul gets to the end. He probably should have won, but he has this very abrasive style, and he couldn't get enough votes, and Josh won. And there's this image of him going like, no, not again, because he got second place 2 years in a row. And it's just heartbreaking, and you're happy for it because he was a villain, because he was so dominant. I would compare him, from a Survivor perspective, to someone like Russell Hantz, who was in Survivor Samoa and Heroes versus Villains, who has this very aggressive gameplay, really knows what they're doing, but along the way is making enemies that maybe is not going to lead to a successful win. So I think if Paul can kind of corral that, he obviously a very bright person, if Paul can corral that and just be a little bit kinder, I think Paul will do quite well. Juan, do you have any thoughts on Paul?
I do, actually. But number one, I just want to rewind to something about, I actually really do appreciate Josh Martinez. And I will say this, because as kooky as of a person he is, he's someone you will always remember. And you guys already know, I or if you don't know, I don't like boring people like on TV. Like if I want to watch boring people, I'm not even gonna, shade the shows and stuff like that. But because like usually, you're not watching. But Josh is someone that you do remember. He's actually competing in the Spanish version, Big Brother, this year, La Casa de los Famosos. It just started. So good luck to Josh there. I hope he provides some of the entertainment, even though he did borrow the pots and pans to torment another house guest from Tanisha from the Bad Girls Club season 2. So interesting little connection there. Back to Paul. Paul is definitely also holds a special part in my heart as well. It's weird because while we didn't know each other that well, I started watching actually Paul's first season where Devon was brought back, and I saw that alliance with her and Josiah. And I think what makes him so villainous too is not necessarily because he's just so in your face cutthroat, because I think then he wouldn't move so far. I think that, he really worked on building that jury resentment for Big Brother because he made alliances with everybody and anybody. So by the time that everybody compared and contrasted notes, they realized they were given basically the same promise, the same story. And then they're like, oh, he did us all dirty. And that's what makes him very villainous, is that, he smiled in their faces, he told them all beautiful promises, and then he got them all out and had to do with their downfall, and he lost by the same method twice, and it was beautiful to watch. But there is something so charismatic about Paul that I could see why a lot of people were drinking the Kool-Aid, which, on the topic of Kool-Aid, Rob has a podcast, had an interview back when that show, his season aired, Paul's, and they asked, this was the second time that Paul competed, where Raven was asked, like, if she liked Paul's Kool-Aid, and she took it literally, and she started talking about the way that he makes the Kool-Aid and just went above her head. But
I forgot about that moment. Thank you for bringing that up. That was
pop culture buff here.
Oh my God, I love that. I think the funny thing about that too is that maybe they weren't making Kool-Aid either. I think she was just yes and an interview question. So, well, maybe it's true, but
well, I mean, and the thing about her too is that when she sat there in the juror's house, she was like passionately still defending Paul, where everybody was already resentful. And she's like, that's what this was meant to happen. And it's like, well, if this is meant to happen, then why are you in the juror's house? You should be there with him.
Right.
So
it was a dominant season. I wish you watched Survivor, Juan, but it is so Russell Hantz that it's crazy.
I'm just really excited to see him. I think he's gonna add a lot of dynamic. When I hear, typically speaking, and that's why I say Josh is one of those people that I do like. Paul is, I'm so happy he's coming back to reality TV because he's not gonna make it boring. And I'm sorry, but there are a lot of Big Brother people where it's sorry, but Paul is not one of them. And in my opinion, Josh isn't either, but everybody's entitled to feel what they feel. But
I think Paul has big winner upside if he can corral his, or I don't know, because there is jury in House of Villains. So
there is.
If he can manage the jury, I think he has a big chance to win. So
or is third time again gonna
or
be
it's
the
a third
same
time
type of buzz?
runner up. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. All right, let's talk Plain Jane, Juan.
Oh my goodness. Yes, let's talk about her. Okay, so I love that people that don't typically watch RuPaul's Drag Race are starting to get familiar with some of the Drag Race girlies. I will go ahead and continue to let Plain Jane shine in just a moment, but I just want to say that I wish we had queens from other type of drag shows like Dragula. Having said that, Plain Jane is a stellar pick for this season. So Plain Jane, also known as Andrew Vladimir Dunayevsky. He is Russian, and that's actually part of Plain Jane's drag personality, is that she's also Russian. So she uses her background, RuPaul's Drag Race season 16, which is where Plain Jane comes from. Incredible pick. She is proficient at reading. She has some incredible moments. When I put some clips, and I didn't make them, but like from season 16, it was so hard to pick from the many clips and content that Plain Jane gave us from just her season alone.
I'll be honest, I don't, after a RuPaul season, I don't know any of their names. I mean,
Plain Jane.
I think I
Plain
watched
Jane. You're gonna know Plain Jane, and when you say I'm a fan of Plain Jane, Craig, I'm gonna be like, no. He said I don't know her.
I don't know anybody.
He pulled a Mariah Carey. Plain Jane. In this household, we speak no slander. And just remember, when I saw Candy Muse on her season, I was such a fan because I knew that the person that ruffles everyone's feathers, like Plain Jane does, to her castmates, is gonna be the person that I want to continue watching. Like, why do I want to watch? Why am I watching this for like a regular competition when I just want the people that are the standouts?
Okay. All right, let's watch Plain Jane's.
Oh, fasten your seatbelts, because this plane always goes down. Oh. I am a Russian doll.
Can you give us a sample of it?
Let's see. Ты поросенок, ты уродка, и ты красавица.
I think she called me vodka. How do we feel about being on RuPaul's Drag Race season 16?
I'm gonna be honest with you girls. I felt nervous until I walked in the workroom and saw everybody else.
Whoa. You take away the message, and what is your talent? Holding up posters? Girl, protect queer art, but is she giving us anything worth protecting? That's the question.
What I do know is that if I see something that I'm like, yes, bitch, work, that's gonna be my top vote. In first position, I choose Plasma. I found her makeup atrocious.
I am treating this Rate a Queen system as another way that I can ensure that I'm in that top spot.
It's like, feels like I'm so close.
I'm not gonna complain about being in the top. I'm not gonna like sit here and cry and sulk all day. I feel great.
And I'm glad that Dawn is having fun on what could potentially be her last week here.
Mama, kudos for saying that, for spilling. Like, seriously, oh my God.
I love her.
I don't know if I've ever seen that person in my life.
Again, he's pulling a Mariah Carey. He doesn't know her. But Plain Jane, rest assured, you will know her name. And I mean, strategic. Like, she voted like one of the worst looks, Plasma, as the top look. So you know she's really shady. And when everybody's having like, or that queen is having a bad moment, and she's like, I'm not gonna be sad about being in the top. So, you know, this is the entertainment that we want. And, you know, RuPaul's Drag Race has so many really iconic queens. I'm so glad that those that have never watched Plain Jane, including my co-host, apparently, will get to know her, and she is going to fuck shit up.
Yeah, I think traders set the trend of casting these drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, and such an underused asset that they could be using. Like, these people, they're cast in such a great way on RuPaul. Again, RuPaul's Drag Race also does a great job with casting, so might as well just take some of the contestants from that and put them on your show, and it's almost always a good thing. Like in Traders, it works out very well. So Tyson Apostle, a 4-time Survivor player, played in Tocantins, Heroes vs. Villains, Blood vs. Water, which he won, and he did play in the all-winter season Winners at War. The thing that makes him pretty villainous is his confessionals are pretty diabolical. He'll talk a lot of shit about people in the confessionals, be really mean. He will also be pretty abrasive to people in person, and if he doesn't like you, he'll let you know, and you know he'll tear you down. But he is quite loyal. He is very strategic, and the thing that really sets him apart as a contestant in these shows is he is a very, very good challenge contestant. He played in Challenge USA. He got second place. And the only reason he got second place is because he quit. I think it was like very, very cold. It was that one season where it was like in a mountain or something and just an insane elements or something. But I think I like Tyson. He's my kind of player. He's an example of kind of the old school survivor that I miss. Just a mean guy who is very smart and, you know, entertaining, and he gives good confessionals. So I think he'll always be very entertaining. He can get a little too schemy, but I think he's well connected to, weirdly, a lot of people in the show. So he might have a chance in the show. Do you have any thoughts on Tyson?
Well, I know he's definitely one of your people because Survivor is definitely Craig's show. I actually know him. I watched him on The Challenge actually as well, because I do watch some competitive shows, but for me, I tend to like the really trashy stuff. So I actually know him from Marriage Boot Camp. I watched him. He was on the season that Natalie Nunn, Jacob Payne were on there, Aviva Drescher and her husband, Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt, Selena Johnson. And it was such a rowdy season. So it was such a great cast, really classic moments. By the way that I saw him acting on that with his wife, now wife Rachel.
Yeah,
he was a villain for sure. But it's funny because at the end he ended up proposing to her after that show. Which, fun fact, a lot of the couples on that Marriage Boot Camp that were supposed to be dysfunctional actually are still together. I don't know about the Jacob Payne and Natalie Nunn of it all. They're still together, but yeah, all of those couples are still generally together. And so it is exciting to see Tyson compete because, again, my reference point is just like couple marital issues, and this is where you see that I watch a lot of just random
ancillary shows. Yeah, I mean, speaking of Rachel on the season that he won, it was a blood versus water season, which in Survivor is you go in with a loved one, and he went in with his, at the time, girlfriend. And I think a huge reason why he won is Rachel kind of got out a little bit early. And so it was just Tyson by himself. So it was a season where, like, if you were in a pair, you were kind of targeted as like, oh, we got to get rid of both of you. Whereas Tyson was just kind of a lone guy for most of the game. He also, that season, had a broken arm, or kind of broken. It wasn't even that bad, but he asked to be put in the sling and was like really milking. He's like, oh man, I don't know, my arm really hurts. And when he needed to turn on the challenge thing, he was able to just kind of rise and do what he needed to do. So he's definitely willing to lie. He's definitely willing to be schemy. And at the end of the show, during his final tribal in which he won, he said, you know, I don't regret it, but I'm really sorry. And it was just gameplay. You know, and he apologized to people. He did a really good job. It was a very good win for him.
Right. And he was mean to Rachel, like very, very mean. So I hope he
has
gotten better. Like, it's not in the context of a competition. This was like straight up just mean. So hopefully he's treating her better. They're still married.
He can be very mean. He was pretty mean to, I believe her name was Sierra on her Tocantins season. He can get really vile, not only just in the confessionals, but also just in person, where he's just like, I don't like you. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to whatever. So
if I'm recalling it, and, you know, Marriage Boot Camp was like, I watched a couple seasons. One of the things that most stood out to me from their season was that he almost kind of got like pushed into proposing to her because like the whole ultimatum was like, she wanted to be settled down and he didn't want to. And so like throughout the experiment or the show, they basically told him like, if you don't like step it up the way that she wants you to, you're going to be let go. And that's kind of what pushed him to propose finally. So
interesting. Well, I'm really excited to see Tyson. Always excited to see him compete in these shows. Let's move on to Christine Quinn. Juan, if you want to take it away.
Yes. Okay. So Christine Quinn is actually, as much as I am priding myself on watching all these like reality televisions, I actually barely started watching Selling Sunset, and she is such a baddie, so I'm really excited about her. She's the one person that I actually did not know on the cast.
And just to give Juan a little bit of a shout out, we did break up. You know, we there's 11 contestants, so I said, oh, I'll do 5, and Juan will do 5, and neither of us really knew Christine Quinn. And Juan's like, oh, don't worry, I'll do my research. And you watch like a bunch of seasons of her shows, so
just 2 so far.
Don't say that Juan never did anything for you, because Juan he works hard for y'all.
I will walk that extra mile for you. So thank you for acknowledging that, Craig. But I was also not like really fighting it. I was really kind of excited to watch it. And so, yeah, she's a real estate agent, TV personality, agent of chaos on her show. She is definitely a villain. She understands the assignment. Very akin to Kate Chastain in that she speaks a lot, her mind, and it can rub people off the wrong way. But for me as a viewer, ooh, I love it. I love how she's just saying what she thinks to everyone. Now, she has her villainy moments that I have seen, notably with a lot of the people that she works with in the agency, like Chriselle Strauss, who was on The Traitors, season 3. Ooh, there's some really intense moments there. Like there's a passing of a loved one, and Christine sending flowers, lamenting the loss of a dog, when come to find out it is actually Chriselle Strauss's father.
Jesus.
So there's also apologies that happen, and they're very unique to Christine Quinn. I have to say, I know that she left the show a couple years ago. I think in 2023 she formally left. I haven't gone to that part. She married some rich man, and that was like definitely one of her goals, although she was already really successful in the real estate world, at least as it's portrayed on Selling Sunset. That did not work well because she got divorced last year and she moved back to Texas, where her family is from. I'm really excited. I think she's going to add a lot.
And House of Villains is a show where, you don't have to necessarily have a gaming background to do well. I think the last 2 winners, in fact, of House of Villains have had no, game. They're not from like a Survivor or Big Brother or any sort of show. I think they're mostly just reality stars in their own right. I believe so. Right, Juan?
Mostly true. Safari has competed on a show called Scared Famous before on VH1. It wasn't a really known show, but yes. So like Tanisha she was on the Bad Girls Club, and while the Bad Girls Club did have their own form of the challenge, Tanisha never competed. So, I think the winning formula is more like in the Big Brother-esque format where like, it's the jury of their peers. And so that's where like strategy will only get you so far. Like it has to be more than just that.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that on Christine Quinn. Let's go to the clip.
Yeah, I had fun. I wasn't like, ah! I love it. This is very like, I just killed my husband vibes.
So as Britney Spears would say,
You better work, bitch. Yeah. Finally, I'm so tired of talking about everyone else's issues. Now we can focus on me. I just want to say whatever I want and no one to get offended. Is this so much to ask? Gucci out. Well, you know about the Coochie Bean out, but what can I say?
What? I'm sorry, like, I'm not a kiss ass. I'm not a pushover.
Are you going to Chriselle's charity event? Every day I spend my life with these bitches in the office. I mean, like, that is the charity event.
Only my tits are fake. Like, I'm not fake.
I could get another husband, but not another dog.
Give me one more chance to not be a fucking bitch.
And I want to come here and apologize for being a total bitch.
All right. Well, looks like she'll make waves.
Yeah, she's definitely a baddie. And she kind of reminds me of Erica Jane from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, like a younger version.
All right. Next up, we got Johnny Middlebrooks from Love Island USA season 2. He was a finalist with, I forget if it was Selly or Chelly, and I watched the whole season. I do like this type of character. He was a villain on Love Island, which is absolutely the incorrect strategy. Love Island is a fan-focused show, so you really want to come off because the people that are watching the show are tend to be women that really like the strong couples, and he was in a very strong couple, but he was just like, he's kind of a piece of shit. And when he went to the Casa Amor, are you familiar with Casa Amor, Juan?
Not so much. I'm not like, but I've seen some of the episodes, and even his season in specific, because you guys watch it.
Yeah, so in Love Island, you get paired up, like you find the right person, you pair up and you keep them, and it's the boy I choose, and it's very funny. But then there's this part where in Casa Amor, the couples are split, and you go into a villa, a different villa, and it's the temptation time where, you know, it's all these other girls that you've never seen before. And Johnny, even though he was in a very strong relationship, came back with this girl, and you know, it was such a big deal. The fans really turned on him, and which is unfortunate because it is a fan vote at the end. So really kind of shot himself in the foot there, but he kind of is unapologetically kind of, you know, for lack of a better word, a fucking douchebag. Like he's just a dude, like a guy. But I like that kind of thing, especially in a show that my wife is making me watch, and he's the only source of like kind of friction and entertainment. He did play on the challenge, but he didn't do particularly well.
Well, can we say why though? Because he was actually pretty athletic and really good. It's just the old veterans like Johnny Bananas and stuff saw that very quickly. Like he is physically, like he was a strong challenger.
Right. So, and he did end up losing to a member of the train, Horacio. I don't know if that's a formal train member.
Johnny Middlebrooks, his whole name is Johnny Lee Middlebrooks, is part of my train. Oh, he's such a beautiful man. Oh. Yeah, I'll wait to throw my thirst at him after you're done though, because beautiful man.
Okay. Well, anyway, so other than he is physically domineering. So I think that is just another thing that maybe he'll be picked out. But I could see him winning in that, like, he is a little bit of like, he's not that big of a social threat. He doesn't necessarily have that many ties to anyone. He did play in the challenge, but he didn't play with Ashley Mitchell, who we'll be talking about later. Tyson, he didn't play with, I don't think. So he's not really connected to anyone, but that's kind of a good thing. If he can just kind of be, you know, remain under the radar, let these big personalities fight each other out. I could see him getting in there at the end.
Can I just say, I've already seen him compete outside of also the challenge. There was a show that just a few of us watched called All-Star Shores. He did pretty good, but his downfall is always going to be those looks. I mean, again, spectacular looks. He is just so beautiful. And I know you're making that face, but let us know in the comments if you think this man is just perfection. But he's such an F-boy, and like he was an All-Star Shore, and he's probably going to be on here because, you know, you have like Tyson, which, like, no shade, he's a very average looking dude, but like this is the type of guy that if there are single girls, which Christine Quinn is, and I think Ashley Mitchell is, and we don't know if Kate is or not. She's had a baby, but she had a baby by herself. So I'm certain he's going to be pulling his F-boy moves to his advantage. So I do think
I'm looking at the ages of these contestants. He is the youngest. He and Plain Jane are the only ones in their 20s. Johnny is 27. Plain Jane is 28, and everyone else is in their, you know, pretty much late 30s, early 40s. So I don't know. Even that is enough to kind of stand out in these types of shows.
He is an objectively attractive guy. He could be in my train any day with Joel McHale. He is. I think his looks will be beneficial to him in the way that Rob Roush's looks are to him in Traitors.
Wow.
So and actually,
but you don't like Rob is not.
I'm not as crazy as everyone is about him. I think
That's
he's
crazy.
okay. So if he beats like real good faithfuls, then I'll say he's great at the game. But you can't say he's at the Sari level of the game when he's beating Johnny Weir and Tara, who cannot find their way out of a paper bag.
They're having a blast.
They're having a blast.
All right. Anyways, anything else with Johnny?
No, he did really good though on All-Star Shore, so I think he was also on the Suki Hana. There's a song that she has on the music video, so I think he was on a Kalani music video too. I mean, again, when you're that pretty and privileged, you can be on all the music videos that you want to be. He is stunning.
Maybe we'll see him in our music video bracket coming up.
Yeah, maybe. See, that would be the best of all worlds.
All right, let's move on to Jackie Christie.
Jackie Christie. Okay, where do I begin with her? Number one, she is TV reality royalty. And yes, I will say that. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible because there's so much lore to Basketball Wives. As someone that has watched every Basketball Wife variation, and also rest in peace to Basketball Wives, which also got canceled. They're canceling all my VH1 shows. I don't appreciate that because if you notice, the people that have most been entertaining on House of Villains are all VH1 stars. I'm not saying the others haven't been entertaining. I'm just saying New York, VH1, Safari, VH1, Bobby Lights, VH1, and Jackie motherfucking Christie, VH1. So if you see the trend, VH1 is where it's at, but I think as with all shows, they run their course. I get it. And especially after such a contentious season of Basketball Wives, where Jackie Christie slapped hers and Doug Christie's daughter. Basketball Wives started on the Florida side. It had Tammy Roman, Evelyn Lasada, Shawnee O'Neal. She's the one behind it. She should have stayed producing, not in front of the cameras, but she thought she deserved to be in front of the cameras. So then it got a spin-off in Los Angeles, and that spin-off was built around Gloria Govan and her sister Laura and Jackie Christie. And Jackie Christie is the spouse of Doug Christie, who's the current head coach of the Sacramento Kings. Jackie Christie.
On that, the only reason I know of Jackie Christie is I was watching a basketball game. Juan came over to my house, and it was the Kings. I think it was the Kings Lakers, and Juan's like, "Oh, I don't even know how it came up." It's like, "Oh, look, that's Doug Christie." I'm like, "How do you know Doug Christie? This makes no sense. You don't watch basketball. How would you know the Sacramento Kings coach?" And then he pretty much went on a whole rant about Jackie Christie after that.
Yeah, because she is a national treasure. Let me just tell you, hater or not, she is the excitement to have someone at her caliber with New York, who is, the peak of reality TV. We are in for a treat. Yes, Jackie is kooky. She is, unapologetically just herself. I'll never forget just how she, kind of like New York, you have to do double takes to be like, did she just say that out loud? So I love me some Jackie Christie, and if there's a reason why it stuck through all the Basketball Wives, through the good, through the really bad, through the Brittany Renners of it all, because man, she was tough to digest in the last season. Jackie Christie is the reason for, and we all know that that's why they were always trying to take out Jackie Christie, including Shawnee O'Neal. So it is just such beauty to have Jackie Christie join this cast. I hope she continues to be casted on shows because she is a character. And I mean, I cannot wait for this New York interaction with her because she's definitely someone that is a pioneer in reality TV. She's just worth to watch.
All right, let's watch the clip.
I've seen Sasquatch before. I live in the Pacific Northwest. We're coming down off of I-5. We in the car, me and my best friend Tamika, with my mom, and we're coming from the mall. All of a sudden, you just see this big, giant shadow come up in front of the car. It's hairy, and it looks right into the front window. I'm in the front seat, and I look right into the Sasquatch's eyes. It was the most amazing, scariest feeling in the whole wide world. Cars are slamming on their brakes all around us. It didn't say anything, it just looked. And for a moment, I know it knew me and I knew it. And I said, from this day forth, I will never question your existence. Just let us go. We spoke like mentally. The time we got to the phone booth and called 911, they said that was the 20th phone call they had gotten in the last 5 minutes. Everyone was calling about this Sasquatch. No one believes me but the people on the freeway that day and my mom and my friend. I know what I saw. and he's there and he exists.
So,
what the fuck?
I love Jackie Christie.
What an insane group of clips. You think? What is the percent chance Jackie Christie wins the show?
Oh, very slim. But I just hope that on her way out, we get her craziness.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that one.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ashley Mitchell, a challenge. I wonder if she would be on the. She's got to be on like the challenge Mount Rushmore of like great. Which Mount Rushmore, of course, has how many heads?
5. I say 5. I know it's 4, but you know.
Yeah, because you guys, I've been asking you guys to make Mount Rushmores, and you guys are always giving me 5 of things. And anyway, but Ashley Mitchell is the winningest female contestant in challenge history. She very famously won $1 million by stealing half of the money from her partner at the very end. In, I believe, let me look at my notes real quick. It was the challenge to the Final Reckoning against Hunter, and took a $500,000. She did it very quickly. TJ asked, like, all right, do you want to split the money or do you want to take it? She's like, I'm taking it all. Sorry. And no one was surprised, and everyone was like, you're a bad person. And she felt justified in her own way. And she's always very entertaining. She is still playing in challenges. And I think she knows that she can't really win in the challenge, but she understands the assignment, and her assignment is, I got to be entertaining, which is usually yelling at Anissa or doing, really fun stuff like that. So I think she is a really fantastic player. Obviously, one of the great strategic minds in these strategic social strategy games. She can get a little fiery, especially when she's drinking. And I do think they provide a lot of alcohol on House of Villains. Some of these shows don't provide that much alcohol, but she gets tipsy, and she gets a little fiery when she's tipsy. So I think that's maybe going to be the thing that would have her lose, but if she can, again, corral her tendencies to yell at people and call them out, and maybe having no history with a lot of these people is going to be helpful, because she is very charming. So I'm very excited to see how Ashley Mitchell does. I think she'll do quite well. Juan.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Who you coughing at? Oh, shit. Who you coughing at? When I was talking, she started coughing. Bitch, like I'm some type of fucking germ? Bitch, I know you ain't coughing at me, ho. Pussy ass bitch, you can't be coughing at me, disrespectful ass bitch. Homeless ass hoe. Who you coughing at? Who you coughing at? I know you ain't coughing at me.
Well, number one, who do you think she's going to yell at if she doesn't have Anissa to yell at? She's going to have to.
That's a good question.
We're going to let us know in the comments who you think will be her fill-in for Anissa. Yeah, so I will say that, while I've watched many seasons of the challenge, I've only seen like maybe 2 seasons with her. I really like her. I like her accent, her southern accent. I think she's going to be a really good competitor. And, it will be interesting to see her, because typically what happened on the challenge was they started with like these really basic kind of like college students came up with like the challenges, and then it turned into like this really like serious sports thing. And so for Ashley Mitchell, she got into it right when it was already like a serious, physical, grueling competition, and now she's kind of going backwards, because House of Villains is more like light competition but big on the entertainment. So I think she'll deliver, but it will be interesting to see her personality. On the topic of the drinking, let's not forget Bobby Lights being egged by fellow challenger Johnny Bananas and going and confronting New York. So I think the alcohol is just on their terms and how they choose. I really hope she chooses to drink responsibly, but like gives us good moments too, for sure.
Yeah, she's, the pedigree is there. She has a great history. So, by all accounts, she should be crushing it. So we'll see how she does with these other very like-minded personalities, in fact. So good luck to Ashley Mitchell. Let's move on to Drita
Devanzo.
Juan. So when we were coming up with the list of who to do first and last and everything like that, Juan wanted to have all of his go last. He was like, "Oh, can I have Jackie Christie go last? Oh, can I have this?" But he eventually had Drita go last. So I'm curious to hear. I don't know anything about her. Okay. I'm curious to hear why you would want to save this one for "quote unquote" your last one.
Yes, so I mean, it's so hard to pick like from the list because I'm so excited from everyone from Kate Chastain playing Jane, Christine Quinn, every single one, including what's it called, those that are covered by my co-host. That's not just lip service. I am so excited. It's so unique to have Drita Devanzo make her return back to reality television. She is most notably known for Mob Wives, a show that ran from 2011 all the way to 2016. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I just wanted to say that she also starred on the show Scared Famous, which was like a competition show. There was like frights and stuff like that, and a little like Fear Factor-ish. And New York was on that, and so was Safari, that won last season on House of Villains, and now we're getting Drita back. I believe that was the very final show that Drita did before she kind of, just disappeared into her own personal life. Mob Wives is really, that show that pushed the envelope. We had just had Real Housewives of New Jersey on Bravo, but VH1 said, let me, hold my beer, I got this. And they gave us a show with these women from Staten Island with huge personalities. When I heard House of Villains, I never thought that we would get any of our Mob Wives, number one, because they're very explosive. That being said, it also kind of makes sense because Renee Graziano, who's also on Mob Wives, has been on Celebrity Big Brother, which is another show that New York did, and where a lot of personalities that end up on these shows end up. But I just thought Drita had retired. I'm so glad she has not. I have decided every now and then I go back, or periodically I go back and I rewatch shows, and I decided I would rewatch Mob Wives to see if my lens or perspective had changed. Drita, I'm not gonna label her as a villain per se, because I think a lot of people just really liked how fiery she was. Now, she is very short-tempered. Her and her neck vein, she handles business from season 1 all the way to the last season of Mob Wives. It's kind of like poetic justice because the very first season ends with Drita Devanzo attacking her, and we're going to see a clip of that, her arch nemesis, Karen Gravano. She's Sammy the Bull's daughter. If you don't know the premise of Mob Wives, these are just women that have ties. Either they're married to someone or they have a relative that is affiliated with the mob. For Drita Devanzo, that's Lee Devanzo, which we hear throughout the entire season. Spoiler alert, she gets divorced from Lee Devanzo, and I think just in 2020 is when it happened. But so she might be able to go after Johnny Middlebrooks, even though she's a bit older than him.
Yes,
that being said,
50 and Johnny is 27.
She is such a firecracker. She is Albanian, and her cousin is Florina Kaja from the Bad Girls Club season 4. So I say that because if you did watch Bad Girls Club season 4, then you understand that Florina and Drita Devanzo's blood is not the same like everybody else's. They are very explosive, and in the scenes that we're about to watch, that I think do a better job than I do describing, you see how, worked up Drita gets. I don't know if it's gonna make good House of Villains or if it's even gonna be allowed, but she's very quick to run hot with her temper. And, this is very unfortunate for her co-star Karen Gravano, because the first scene that we're gonna watch is Karen Gravano getting assaulted by Drita Devanzo on a rooftop over a hilarious argument about Lee Devanzo. And then the second clip is also going to be Drita Devanzo also fighting Karen Gravano and a couple of her co-stars. But my favorite part of it all, and the fan base of Mob Wives know this, as soon as she sees Karen Gravano in that final scene, because they could not be in the same room, she just tells her, "Get up, Karen," not "Hello, how are you?" Because they're about to fight. So yeah, it's Drita's gonna be a very interesting ad. I am scared. I hope that liability forms have been signed because she is very hot-tempered. I don't know if villain. We'll see if villain. I didn't consider her on Mob Wives as a villain.
That's interesting.
But
That's interesting that you're able to like separate those two. So like you're saying she's not a villain, she's just like fiery or passionate. Or,
yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the clips for Drita.
Into ex-boyfriend, I would have made friends with you in the first place, because you my boyfriend when you were with Lee, right?
I know I never the boyfriend I made out with when I was like 21. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And you ratted me out. I'm on the floor because Renee put their arms around me and throws me back. Drita jumps on top of me. Bad, really bad. And then really good, and then bad. Things that were right, things that were wrong.
Jesus Christ, bro. And you don't think she's a villain? No, I'm just kidding.
No, she's just like hot-tempered.
She's
but
hot-tempered. Sometimes you gotta go strangle someone, you know?
So I am scared for some of the people.
But if they don't have the history, I mean, I don't think she's going, zero to that without probably a lot of history and a lot of.
She has history with New York.
Oh, I guess we'll see how that goes. All right, let's go to Tom Sandoval. Now, I only know Tom Sandoval from The Traitors, and so you're gonna have to fill in the background of why he's a villain. Let me just say this. From what I saw from Tom Sandoval of The Traitors, he was one of the most charming people I've ever seen. He was so funny. He was so good on the Traitors. He had a very
you're about to get canceled.
He had a funny, iconic moment where what did he say? Something like all women are cheaters or something like that.
Even though
and everyone's like, what the hell are you saying? And then he's like, oh, sorry. I meant men. He was so funny. I think it was a good, if there was redeeming to be had, I think he did a successful job in Traitors, because when I look at him, and that's the only thing I know of him, and everyone's calling him Tom Scamdevall and all this, I don't really see why, but maybe you can fill in the blanks.
Well, yes, there's many reasons, actually, Craig. So it's like almost going on record and saying like, you know what? Jax Taylor is such an entertaining, like he was on the first season of House of Villains, by the way. And if you saw him on one thing, you would be like, oh my gosh, he's so great. But if you have like their full lore, like then you'll maybe not be so inclined to be
I think that's actually a very appropriate comparison, because same thing with Jax. I didn't know who he was. Saw him on House of Villains. I'm like, oh, he seems fine. Like I didn't think anything of it. I think his final episode, if I remember correctly, was like, oh, there he is. But
not even close. Not even close.
Yeah, exactly. So like I don't really get taste of these like really bad people on these like kind of like, popcorn shows. So
fun fact for Jax Taylor, and we'll go into Sandoval real quickly, but I just wanted to say that with Jax Taylor, they come from the same show. Jax Taylor even roped his storyline on House of Villains because he was on a show called The Valley, which is people post Vanderpump Rules, and it just he makes good TV like Sandoval, but he's for real a villain. And I mean, I was very happy to watch Jax lose, and I mean, he made good entertaining shows and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of like the same thing with Sandoval, is like maybe on The Traitors he translated well. He was also on a Special Forces where he actually did very well there as well. But there's like tool-like element to him. Oh, he's also most recently on America's Got Talent with his band, which watch Blinding Lights by his band, and it's a bit of a rough to watch, but he comes from the show Vanderpump Rules. Before Vanderpump Rules, though, he was a quick model that you saw on The Hills, so like the connection to reality TV was always there. And in Vanderpump Rules, he is known, the whole scandal things is that, you know, he was with Ariana Madix, and they had a mutual friend that was living with them that he was cheating on Ariana the entire time with, Raquel Leves. So it was very controversial because he was, I guess it was when in a world where it's really easy to see how villainous someone like Jax Taylor is. Tom Sandoval was really well received by audiences, but looks are deceptive. And, you know, that's the thing is like on The Traitors, he gives nice guy vibes, but at his true core, he is a villain. And I mean, most of the Vanderpump Rules cast is. And you know, we love them for that, but we also have to keep in mind that they do some very heinous and foul things, and Sandoval is not an exception to that. So he definitely has earned his villain card, but he does make really entertaining TV ultimately, and I think he will do really good. I just do think that like he do not buy this act that he's this cool, and I mean Craig was like he's just seems like a guy that I would totally bro out with.
Yeah,
like,
he's cool.
He's not. I'm not gonna go that far, but he will make the TV show interesting. But Vanderpump Rules, at least the original cast, I haven't really watched much of the new reboot. Most of them are very toxic people, and so in other shows, it's gonna translate well. You know, we have gotten to see that with Jax, but if you actually watch them, like especially the Valley start, well, Jax is no longer on there, you quickly start to see like, oh dang, this person is a horrible human being. Oh my gosh, like, you know, Jax got himself kicked out for really good reasons. But hopefully with Sandoval, he does use this because The Traitors was redemption. I don't know if it's his full redemption. Like, I do have no doubt that Sandoval is going to be very entertaining. I do hope he's a changed person as he claims to be, but we'll see. Time will tell.
See if being on House of Villains will continue to do his cleaning work, I guess. All right, last but certainly not least, we have the lovely New York, who of course comes from Flavor of Love and I Love New York and so many other things. And she is an icon in her own regard. One of the more recent things that I remember her from was from a show on Out TV, I believe, Juan, Hot House. She was the host, and she was completely unhinged, which is a strong thing to say on such an interesting show, but she's the host of the show, and she was getting in there and crying with the contestants and like basically being a player with these people. Completely crazy, but she is so entertaining and she is so fun, and she will not win, but it will be a great 3 weeks that she's on the show for sure.
Well, she got further on second season, and she has competed on so many different shows because I would like to say she is the reality TV star.
Sure.
Like, I say this as a fan of the entire cast. I know I kind of didn't sound the most fan of Tom Sandoval, but I do think this cast is perfection. But you cannot talk about reality TV without talking about New York. So she is the pioneer, I feel, of like reality TV. There's not one person like her. Every show she goes to, she adds something to it. You could take an obscure show like Hot House. There's like a Dragon Slayer one also on Out TV. She makes every show she's a part of. In Celebrity Big Brother UK, it was the New York show. Like, you know, Hema Collins threw a whole fit, but it was all about New York. That whole scene with New York reading Hema Collins and her Dolce & Gabbana shoes that have like the rhinestones that are unglued. Like, New York is a legend. She doesn't even need an introduction. I really do think that every cast that has gotten a chance to record with her should be very lucky, because when New York is on something, people pay attention. And so she has so much power in the world of reality TV. We have gotten a lot of reality TV stars that, have been iconic, make memes, but I don't think there's anyone that is in the league of New York. I don't know if you can think of anyone that comes close, but she really is such a giant in this. I don't know if she'll win House of Villains, but I want her to be there as long as she needs to be, because just to see her interact with yet another group of people, like, she foils every person that she's with. And I mean, last season, for her to just effortlessly read Teresa Giudice, it doesn't help that Teresa's wheels spin really slow. She's a great TV star and everything, but reading her forehead line to her face and just pulling that, and Teresa not realizing, like, you just got read by New York. I mean, it's truly an honor, and we're in for a real treat. So, I mean, I'm really excited to have her. I do hope that fourth season, because I hope there's a fourth season, we get New York again with another cast ensemble.
That's so
and
fun. She could be the Johnny Bananas of the show.
Yes. And much like Johnny Bananas, you can't think of the challenge without thinking of Johnny Bananas. I think she's becoming a staple to House of Villains. So we welcome you. We receive you, New York. We look forward to the content you're going to give us. I'm really excited to see how she meshes with Jackie Christie. I'm sure that the VH1 girlies know each other. I do know, again, Scared Famous featured Safari, Drita Devanzo, New York, and Alaska from RuPaul's Drag Race. So actually they did putting the drag queen in a show before Traders. And it was such a random cast, but really good show. It just didn't get the hype that, I think other shows get. But I think this season is shaping up to a really stacked cast. I'm not sure. Did you want to add anything else to New York, Craig?
No, just excited to see her compete again. She's always fun. She brings a lot of fun when they're back in the home. I think that's where she really thrives, like in the home living, in the reality part of it. I think she's the most entertaining.
Well, and that's the thing, is like the competitions here are just so. For me, I like a good level of competition, but like, I'll be honest, there's some shows that aren't so heavy on it that I like. I mean, clearly, like Mob Wives, there's no competition to it, or like Housewives or any of that, or even like Marriage Boot Camp. I guess the competition is like, is your marriage going to survive? But which is bigger stakes than, ooh, I won a competition, because it's like, oh gosh, this person thinks I'm trash and I'm with them and they're giving me an ultimatum. So that's why I say it's like, it's so interesting to see all these people from all these unique competition shows, and it will be really interesting to see what that dynamic looks like for third season. I have to say, and we covered another show in Spanish called La Más Draga, when it was very hard to lose people each week for a period of time. I feel like that's going to be the case here.
For sure.
I think anyone that we lose is already, like, it's just unfortunate, but I hope they keep bringing the show back and we can continue to get seasons of it. And yeah, I think that's basically it. I think we covered the 0 episode.
Yeah. Can I get a winner pick out of you?
Sure.
I can go first. You can think, and I'll go through my thought. So I think in these types of shows, I think the general theory is you kind of want to be the middle of the road. You don't want to be the most threatening. You don't want to be the biggest personality. You kind of want to just be like somewhere in the middle, right? And I think the last 2 winners of this show's winner, and even on the other shows, it's very hard to be big and win. You have to play a very specific way. With that in mind, I think the gamers, the real gamers, I think it's going to be hard for them to win. So that's the Tysons, the Ashley Mitchell, and Paul. I think they're gonna have a very difficult time winning. So I'm gonna kind of take them out. I also think the big personalities are gonna have a hard time winning. That's Tiffany, Drita, and Jackie Christie. I think those are just too big of personalities to really make a dent in it, which kind of leaves us 3 people in the middle of Kate, Christine Quinn, Plain Jane, and Tom. So my winner pick is going to be Christine Quinn. I think she, from what you've said and what you've shown, she is very confident, which I think you need a lot of. And she does seem charming enough. I think that's, just by nature of being in real estate, I think you have to be very charismatic and you have to get what you want and you're able to negotiate and all that type of stuff. So I'm gonna have her be my winner pick.
It's a good pick. I mean, I will say they're all big personalities, Craig,
Sure.
and that's
And it's a relative thing. I think Christine
relative.
maybe on a regular show, like on Traders, is like, okay, that's the big personality. But respective to this type of environment, I think she is like in the middle of the pack.
Can I just say something and you're gonna be like shocked, like a little bit? I'm not gonna say Christine Quinn, but I can't wait to like see your reaction to this. But I'm like, I think I 100% agree with your assessment actually, and I'm not just saying that like to agree, because you already know that I will contradict you any chance I can. Not any chance I can, but like if I don't agree with you. So I think that's a really, really good way of thinking about it, like relative to the whole cast. I also do think because Christine Quinn, there is a skill set involved in like real estate and like charming. But for me, it's not going to be Christine Quinn. I do think that I can see her go far. I actually am going to put my money on Kate. And for similar reasons that you are giving, but also because Kate, this game is unique in that it's you're right, like the strategies will probably get the gamers kind of far, but it might also be detrimental to them because when the others get the opportunity to knock them off, it's like an easy pick, because why would you want to take someone that is really good at things?
Exactly.
But I think what really helps Kate is that she kind of charms people. Like, she might initially not be people's number one pick in terms of like, oh, she's charming, but she has a way. I mean, remember, she comes from the world of yachting, and you deal with some very tough personalities, demanding. And so I think even though Kate is outspoken, she knows how to kind of pull back when needed. And she, at the end of her Worthy of Noting Traders season 1, her whole cast hated her like during the game, but at the reunion, something kind of odd happened. They all kind of were charmed by her. And so I think it's, if she makes it to the end, she has a high chance like Christine Quinn. And so that's why she's going to be my pick to win. But I want them all to win. I mean, we all win by watching them. But
I'm going to take a page out of your book or a quote out of your book, whereas I love to be proved wrong. I would love to see Tyson win. I'd love to see Ashley Mitchell win. I'd love to see Paul win. Honestly, if any of these people won, I'd be thrilled. I on paper right now, it would be so much fun. Even Johnny, like, how fun would that be to have, this guy from Love Island, beat all these.
Well, Love Island people do translate well in games. Like, we've seen that time and time again. So, I know I was talking crap on one of them, but like, they do really good. And I do want to say this, Craig, because I don't know if that's what it came off as, but there is a lot of respect on the people that are gaming, that are coming in and are being vulnerable with their personalities. After watching Tyson on Marriage Bootcamp, like, it takes a lot for a person to put like their like marital issues, like they're on TV and stuff like that, but I mean, I'm like, I wouldn't rule him out as just a gamer. I feel like he has like, and even watching him, like, I kind of judged a little bit about how he was toward Rachel, but he does have like an emotional intelligence. He has the ability to adapt very well with big personalities, because again, he was with Natalie Nunn, he was with Heidi Montag, Spencer Pratt, big personalities. He didn't drown, and that tells you a lot about who he is. I will be interested with Paul because I see him a lot on the preview, like the quick preview that we all get. it might be very interesting to see him go far. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe Big Brother wasn't his game to win. Maybe this is his game to win. I'm still gonna stick with Kate, not because she's the only person I want to win. She's just the person using kind of your formula, which I think, you know, what's it called? I will compliment you with that, because at 100%, if you wouldn't have said it, I was kind of thinking along those lines when you asked me the question. So I think that I'm copying your reasons as to why. I'm just changing the person.
Yeah, I think Kate also has a good chance. She's played in the Traders, so she knows how these social strategy games work. She knows how people move. Like that does have value. So yeah, should be a great season. All right, anything else before we sign off, Juan?
So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna like recap. We may kind of play around with the format, make it fun for all of you guys to watch. So please like, subscribe, because it helps us with like the algorithm. And we really look forward to this game. It's just something that we have watched together. We watch a lot of other competition shows as well. If you click on our other videos, you can watch us cover a drag show in Spanish. So like we are very versatile when it comes to the shows that we watch. Obviously, Craig is more heavier onto like the competition gaming, and I'm more on like bigger on the reality TV kind of like trash. Like it might be just like a show about people, but I think that's what makes our coverage of this so good, is that like Craig has a lot of the aspects that I don't have, because while I consider myself a pop culture buff, like I know that I could probably polish my gaming knowledge. I did watch Big Brother though, and Paul. So.
You know, I think Juan is underselling he watches a lot of these shows. He's even casually watching Survivor a little bit more because he knows I like it, and he's always been big into Big Brother. You know, Tough as Nails, I know you're really into.
I do like Tough as Nails. Okay, but that is like, it's just because I'm so inspired by their projects. And I wish I had their, like, I understand why people probably don't. Also, there's like an exploitive part where it's like, you guys are really picking up trash.
Yes.
And
anyway.
Yeah, so.
All right. Well,
really
thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you after the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, don't forget to hit subscribe and give us comments, show us love, show us hate. Tell us what you're most excited about, and we will see you later.
All right. Bye, y'all.